This is, after all, where power meets passion. Welcome to the Spikers Turf.
The volleyball action continues right here at the Paco Arena Events and Sports Center in the city of Manila as we bring you the live and exclusive coverage of the 2023 Spikers Turf Open Conference. Now, it is a day after Valentine's and there is no shortage of volleyball love here as we bring you two exciting games this Wednesday double header. Later on, we get to see the PGJC Navy Sea Lions with one win under their belt take on the still undefeated Signal HD Spikers. But of course, before that, our game at hand, it's the Philippine Air Force Airmen going up against the VNS Griffins, two of the gutsiest teams here in the league right now. Who will reign supreme? That is the question. Hello everyone, I'm Billy Capistrano, and with me today we have Ayel Estranero. Ayel, great to be working with you, and of course, belated Happy Valentine's.
Oh, belated Happy Valentine's. I'm so happy to be covering with you today with this very interesting matchup.
Absolutely. Now, Ayel, before anything else, we got to take a look at our tournament standings just to see where everybody is at this point in our conference.
For the current standings, we have Iloilo, Signal, and Cotabato on top of the standings, still undefeated. Three teams with good momentum so far in the conference. We have Imos, Army, VNS in the middle of the standings, and PGJC Navy, Vanguard, Air Force, Santa Rosa belong to the lower ranked teams, and NU Archipelago still winless in this conference.
Absolutely. So it's very interesting to see how things will pan out for all our teams, especially because we have 14 more game days until the end of our preliminary round. But of course, we want to focus on our game at hand. It's going to be the Philippine Air Force Airmen. They want to get back in that win column going up against the VNS Griffins, who want to jumpstart their win streak today. So that is it. Our Air Force Airmen going up against VNS. Again, as I mentioned a while ago, it's going to be, a battle of the gutsiest teams that we have here in the Open Conference. Now let's talk about our two teams even further. Let's start things off with the Philippine Air Force Airmen. And unfortunately, Ayel, they lost their previous game against the Signal HD Spikers in straight sets, and it was impressive first and third sets. Kung titignan natin, lumaban talaga sila. However, despite Mark Espejo not suiting up for Coach Dexter Clamore, it wasn't enough for these men to be able to overcome the former champs.
No, aside from Mark Espejo not being present on the court, Ranan Abdilia also did not start for them. Although they kept the first set close, it was the timing of their errors that actually allowed Signal to close the first set. They had a problem with their service reception, something they struggled the entire game, that they had the difficulty to convert because of that. So it's the timing of their errors and also the great blocking of Signal that actually allowed them to snatch that game away from Air Force.
But Ayel, with every loss, there's always going to be a silver lining. And for this team, the silver lining is they had two players who came up with double-digit outputs. And this whole conference, we have been talking about Ranran Abdilia, how he's been leading this team in terms of offense. But we can't forget about Edwin Tolentino and that support that he's been steadily providing Ranran.
Oh, Edwin Tolentino actually played well in their game against Signal. He had 10 points. He's the second best scorer for the team, for the Air Force, and second scoring option for Air Force by Jesse Lopez. 10 points for him and 10 spikes. Best game for him so far as well for the Air Force. But again, they need to have service reception in that game so that Jesse Lopez will have more options in terms of attack.
It's going to be interesting to see, how the Batman and Robin duo of Abdilia and Tolentino will fare in today's game. Now let's move on over to the other side of the court. Let's talk about the VNS Griffins, and things are a little bit different for them because they outlasted actually the NU Archipelago Volley Builders in that tough 5-set match. Ayel, when I say tough, they really fought tooth and nail for that win, and we will see that in the set scores later on.
Oh, VNS started strong, getting the first 2 sets, but NU picked up their momentum and did so well with blocking and attacking, which extended the game into 5 sets. Now, with the height disadvantage, the VNS Griffins actually made sure that they would have good defense, and it really worked well for them. But in the statistics, we can also see that they maximized the errors of NU well, with 41 errors coming from NU Archipelago. So a lot of big points for Motol, for Femi Balagay, and actually Pedrosa also significant points in the 5th set against Signal.
Now, you mentioned a couple of those veterans, and for a young team like VNS, Ayel, it's very important that they have veterans they look up to that can step up and can lead by example. And luckily for them, they have someone like Noy Pedrosa.
Noy Pedrosa, one of the players who's actually a part of the 2022 Open Conference lineup. He's been a tremendous help in terms of defense, but again, big game for him in their previous game. He had 13 points out of 13 spikes, 6 digs, excellent digs also coming from him. So he's really stepping up big for the VNS Griffins.
Right, so that was Noy Pedrosa, one of the veterans for the VNS Griffins. 13 big points and 6 digs for him in their previous game. And you know, he has proven to be such a vital piece in the system of Coach Ralph Ocampo. And we are not going to make you wait any further. When we return, it's a Philippine Air Force Airmen going up against the VNS Griffins, only here on One Sports. Welcome back to the 2023 Spikers Turf Open Conference. Billy Capistrano with Ayel Estranero, Doreen Suaybaguio, our courtside reporter. This is a game between the Philippine Air Force Airmen versus the VNS Griffins, live here on One Sports Plus, Signal Play, and the Smart live stream app. Ayel, what can you say about our game? What are your expectations sa game natin ngayon?
Great match up today. We have the Air Force really needing this game to help them improve their ranking, so they really have to step up well, especially in terms of defense, so that they'll be able to convert. And again, in the VNS Griffin side, they just have to play consistent volleyball as usual because they've been doing so well in defense and offense.
Now, before anything else, let's first turn it over to our venue announcer for the call out of our starters.
Presenting our national officials for this match.
First referee, Mr. Lumer Pajarillo. Second referee, Mr. Irish Santos. Let's welcome our starting lineup from our Philippine Air Force Airmen. Team captain is Airman Second Class Jesse Lopez, number 17. At number 1, Airman Ralph Christian Calasin. Wearing jersey number 7, Airman First Class Rodolfo Labrador. Number 9, Airman First Class Ruben Inaudito. Number 11, Airman First Class Alnacran Abdilia. And number 18, Airman First Class Edwin Tolentino. First libero is number 8, Reserve Sergeant Renz Melgar. Head coach, Technical Sergeant Jimson Merza. Calling on our VNS, or Volleyball Never Stops Volleyball Club. Team captain, wear jersey number 18, Ron Medalla. At number 3, Philip Michael Bagalay. Number 4, Russell Fronda. Number 8, Jeremy Pedrosa. Number 9, Rocky Roy Motol. Number 12, Jan Mangulabnan. Starting libero is number 2, John Joshua Cruz. Head coach, Mr. Ralph Raymond Ocampo. This is the preliminaries, match number 24. Good luck to both teams.
So there you have it on your screens, the starters for the Philippine Air Force Airmen: Jesse Lopez, Ranran Abdilia, Rodolfo Labrador, Ralph Calasin, Edwin Tolentino, Ben Inaudito, and Renz Melgar. And for the VNS Griffins, we have Noy Pedrosa, Rocky Motol, Philip Bagalay, Jan Mangulabnan, Russell Fronda, Ron Medalla, and John Joshua Cruz, their libero. So right now in the standings, we have Air Force here at 9th place. Number 6 naman ang VNS Griffins. We have 14 more game days until the end of our preliminary round. And as Ayel mentioned a while ago in our pregame, the top 3 teams, wala pa silang talo.
It's going to be interesting for the Air Force today. Also, they're starting Ranan Abdilia in this first set. Now, Ranan Abdilia did that start in their previous game against Signal. The reason why they had that difficulty to build that momentum in terms of scoring. So it's going to be a big adjustment for them in today's game.
Exactly. And we know Ranran Abdilia was a part of the men's volleyball team in 2019 who represented the country in the SEA Games, won that silver medal. So we know what he is capable of, and we have seen him unleash his full potential here in our open conference alongside Edwin Tolentino and of course Jesse Lopez. How can we forget? And meanwhile, for the VNS Griffins, it's a very young team, very talented, very gutsy, and we've been saying that word over and over again because they outlasted the NU Archipelago Volley Builders in a tough 5-set match. Here we go. And that will be the first point for Air Force.
Jesse Lopez activating Ranran Abdilia right away in that first point. Clean back row hit for Abdilia in that sequence.
And we are going to see a lot more where that came from here in this game. Air Force with an early lead. Soft touch for Bagalay. Pemi Bagalay, he joined the team in their second game. And I remember we covered that game, Ayel.
Against Vanguard.
And he did say he came from the States, parang walang jet lag with the way he played. And he has continued to shine here for VNS.
If Air Force has Ranan Abdilia with powerful attacks, VNS Griffins actually has Pemi Bagalay, who is very smart in terms of attacking.
Absolutely. And right now, VNS with a 1-point lead. As Bagalay, one of their veterans, 28 years old, he will serve. That is going to be another point here for Air Force.
Another crucial and significant role playing in today is Jesse Lopez decision-making, a veteran setter for the Air Force, also a part of the national team before.
So he was teammates with Abdilia. A lot of experience under his belt. Tolentino serving. Mulabnan up top. And that was Motol for the point for VNS.
Great decision by Mangulabnan to give that a quick attack to Motol. No, only one blocker in front of him. So much space for that attack.
And Mangulabnan also has shined here for VNS after the departure of their veteran setter, Ish Polvorosa. He moved to Imos. So a lot of playing time given to Jan Mangulabnan, one of the young setters that we have in this league. Mangulabnan will give it to Medalla. Challenging the blockers of Air Force. They're going to chase that. Miscommunication there for the airmen, Ayel.
No, miscommunication, obviously, because Jesse Lopez actually took the first ball, and usually it's the setter who gets the second ball. So his teammates didn't know who to get.
So they were a bit frazzled during that play. Nagkagulatan silang lahat. And that's why VNS has that 1-point lead. Make that a 3-point lead now. 2-point lead. 3-5 is our score.
Pedrosa scoring an ace off the hands of Abdilia in that sequence.
We'll try again. Better receiving for Air Force. And of course, they will go to the other veteran here for Air Force.
Now Dito scoring with a cross-court attack. A deep cross-court attack also.
And he will serve. Doesn't work this time. That was Fronda with the attack. Great blocking for VNS. Air Force trying to chase that ball. Chance here for the Griffins. Medalla will try. And the point will go to VNS.
Net touch was actually called.
And there it is.
On Jesse Lopez.
It was the forearm of Jesse Lopez that touched the net during that block attempt. Slide attack is good, right on the money for Labrador.
Now, credit also to the first ball from Melgar in that sequence. Jesse Lopez was able to set up Labrador with that running attack, confusing the blockers of VNS.
And Melgar has been spectacular as a libero here for Air Force. Number 1 in digging currently and number 6 in receiving here in the league. And it will be a tight game now, 6-all.
So far, Air Force building their momentum because they're playing well in defense. The reason why they can convert more.
Again, a deadlock here. Bagalay wants to change things, and that point will go to VNS.
So a faster attack this time for VNS. Bagala using the hands of the blockers to score that point.
He's a very smart player on and off the court, right, Ayel?
Exactly. A lot of pieces of advice also that he gives to his teammates, the leader that they actually need. But a lot of powerful attacks coming from Air Force, too much to contain for the VNS.
And you did mention off-air, Ayel, that Air Force actually started training later than everybody else. So they're still picking up their momentum and they haven't unleashed their full potential yet. So that should be something exciting to watch out for all the Air Force fans. Just at the net. Another point for VNS. As we go to our first technical timeout, VNS leads 8-7.
After Rocky Motol's explosive performance in his very first time starting for VNS, Coach Ralph Ocampo brought him in again to start for the team dahil sabi ni Coach, iba daw talaga itong pinapakita ni Rocky ever since he got the Player of the Game award last time. Nakwento nga ni Rocky na this energy, this gigil is fueled by three things, Billy and Ayel. Una, hindi daw kasi siya pinapasok sa first few games ng VNS, and now that he wants to maximize the minutes he is given. Pangalawa, isa sa mga natanggal na players sa UE recently, and he's eager to prove that he can do so much more, he can offer so much more if he's given the chance. At pangatlo, tuwang-tuwa daw ang parents niya na makita siya sa TV last game when I interviewed him as Player of the Game. He wants to keep making them proud as well as his friends. Your thoughts, guys?
Thank you so much for that report, Doreen. Well, amazing, you know, for Rocky Motol to be able to learn and grow here in the Spikers turf. And even if he was indeed cut from the UE team, he's flourishing here.
And we know VNS also as a team who gives that kinds of opportunity for players.
And it's nice to see the young ones really learning from the veteran teammates that they have. And not just their teammates, but their opponents as well. So we know that there is a bright future ahead of Rocky Motol. As we get back to this game, VNS at a 3-point push right now. Make that a 2-point lead. That was going to be a service error on the part of Jan Mangulabnan.
VNS really needs to limit their errors because so far Air Force is playing so well in terms of defense and offense. A lot of options for Jesse Lopez in the attacking department.
They did have a good first and third set in their previous game against Signal without Ranran Abdilia really playing consistently, so we know what they're capable of.
No, exactly, and with Ranran Abdilia right now on the court, he's really a threat not just in the front row but also in the back row.
1-point lead for VNS. Make that a 2-point lead for the blue shirts.
A lucky point for VNS. It was miscalculated by Inaudito in that sequence.
You did say, Ayel, that we had a feeling it was going to be a close game. We don't want to preempt anything at all, but it looks like it might just be a close match between these two teams as Bagale serves. Lopez. They're going to give this one to the other side. Sharp cross-court is a no-go. Chance here for VNS. Mangulabnan to Motol, but that will be a point given to Air Force. What happened there, Ayel?
No, Calasin was really right in front of Motol in that sequence. Really no room for him to score a point. No, great blocking.
Single block. And great coverage at the net here for Air Force. Would have been a good play for VNS. It's now back to a 1-point lead, so it's been a back and forth affair for both our teams. We'll try again. He gets it.
Oh, great first ball by Bagalay. Mangulabnan just maximizing it, setting up Pedrosa in the opposite side. Only one blocker in front of him. So much room for that cross-court attack.
VNS serving. Lopez. Another quick attack. Good coverage by VNS, but this time they make sure they get that point, talking about Air Force.
But again, the speed that Air Force is playing right now, they are really setting the pace. VNS needs to catch up with that kind of pace because if not, this is going to be an easy win for Air Force.
Siyempre, ayaw mong sabayan yung kalaban. You have to make sure that the tempo is under your control. 1 point lead for VNS. Balik sa isa. Another quick attack, this time by Fronda.
No, but again, VNS also have their own version of a clean attack. Credit again to the better first ball from Bagalay. Now, if these teams work well with their service reception and defense, no, a lot of conversion will happen. It is really going to be a close game.
So everything is clicking for both our teams. Receiving, digging. Even those blocks at the net looking good, especially right here for VNS. They get that point. Three-point advantage for the blue shirts. That is way off. And the point will go to Air Force.
So far, VNS with already 3 service errors, Air Force with none. The reason why VNS seems to have a difficult time trying to build that momentum.
Mangulabnan will give it to Medalla. He's been silent here, but not for long. That was Ron Medalla, team captain of the Griffins. There's going to be a challenge, and Air Force is going to call this one a block touch, is what they are saying. First challenge of our game here in set number 1.
A block touch was actually called against Inaudito. So they're trying to challenge that there wasn't any block touch.
So we will see what the final say is. Again, for those who are near Paco Arena, why not watch this game? We have another one coming up later on. It's going to be the PGJC Navy Sea Lions up against the Signal HD Spikers. And it's good to note, Ayel, that Signal is still undefeated here in our tournament. 3 teams ang wala pa pong talo.
And Signal has been playing so well. They won against Air Force last Friday in straight sets.
So they are on a roll. And I was asking Ayel, do you think we have a clear picture of what our semis might look like? And she said, maybe, but not yet, because we still have 14 game days until the end of our preliminary round. And we're going to take a look at the challenge, and there was no block touch. There you have it, clear as day. No contact with the ball. And the point will go to Air Force. And they're gonna call another challenge, this time from the side of VNS. Ball in, ball out. We're gonna clarify things. So it's back-to-back challenges.
That's how important the game is right now, because a win means, a big help to improving their ranking. So any point they can get, they're really have
gonna
to
do
challenge.
it. Yes. And they are allowed to do that. Back-to-back challenges. It is allowed here. So a while ago, we saw Air Force call a challenge. Ito naman, VNS. Now we are just awaiting the replay. There it is. I think it's gonna come up soon. There. Ball in, ball out. It was ball. Well, it's a close call. Because the side of the ball, what do you think, Ayel? What is your take on this?
No, that's really hard to say. And also, it might have hit the foot of Tolentino.
And now things get a little bit more complicated. And that's why these challenges, Ariel, are very important. But even here,
well, the view, the perspective that we have here, it's difficult to say.
Tsaka yung sinabi mo nga yung paa.
So they're trying to zoom it in.
Oh, it's ball out. That's the final call, ball out. So the challenge will be unsuccessful.
So I think they're gonna replay the point.
So for VNS, the challenge is unsuccessful and team captain Ron Medalla having a word with our referee.
Abdilia and Mangulabnan also talking.
At any rate, play continues. The decisions have been made. And a few conversations at the net. This is Ranran Abdia trying to explain as well.
Being the veteran kuya to the VNS Griffins.
Trying to explain his side.
I guess good sportsmanship in front of us right now.
Yeah, there was nothing bad going on there. They were just merely talking about what transpired, what happened. At any rate, finally, play continues. And the score we have is 13-14 in favor of VNS. 1 point lead for them. Mangulabnan. Good coverage there by Air Force. Then they go, of course, to who else but Ranran Abdilia after that long lull. Ties this game 14-all.
Abdilia spiking above the blockers. Just so much elevation and power coming from him.
Dito to serve. They give this one to Ron Medalla. Just really challenging the blockers of Air Force. Walang takot. Fearless as always gets the point.
Oh, exactly. Not intimidated at all, even with 3 blockers in front of him, powering through, using all his power in that sequence.
Ron isn't the tallest player as well on the court, but that's when we see that fearlessness come into play. And of course, Air Force, they're gonna answer back. And Abdilia just doing what he does best, Ayel.
Very high efficiency attacker there, targeting the end court of VNS.
And grabbing elevation niya, completely missing the blockers.
The approach,
of VNS.
the form.
Just amazing athleticism by Abdilia. And what about Pemi Bagalay of the Griffins, showing what he's got as we go to our second technical timeout. It's the Philippine Air Force Airmen up against the VNS Griffins here on One Sports. You're watching the 2023 Spikers Turf Open Conference. Billy Capistrano, Ayel Estraniero, and Doreen Suaybagyo, our courtside reporter. And right now, VNS is holding on to that slim 1-point lead here in set number 1, 16-15, as Fronda will serve and welcome us back. Magalay. No go. Lopez. Here comes Abdilia from the back row. Wherever he is still as efficient as ever.
Jesse Lopez really trying to look for Abdilia in the rotation, even from the back row, still earning a point for Air Force. So it's really disrupting the defense pattern of the VNS Griffins.
And a sorry service error for Air Force will again put VNS up by 1 point. And that has been, the story of this set. Ayel, hindi makalamang ng maayos itong Air Force.
It's really the service error of both teams that is keeping them from building a momentum in the set.
Abdilia again. And right now, I have nothing to say. It's just been the Ranran Abdilia show for Air Force, Ayel. What we'll say it again, amazing athleticism from this athlete.
Oh, just the form, the power, not so flashy, just simple.
Just efficient.
Very efficient.
Back to this game. Motol, no go. Abdilia will set it over. This is going to be a chance here. They go to Bagalay. He loves that. And it will be an error called on Air Force.
The errors of Air Force keeping VNS alive in this set.
You got to hand it to Bagalay as well. If Abdilia has all that strength. Bagale has yung iniiba niya, yung tempo ng palo niya, mid-air, with that split-second decision-making. That's volleyball IQ. They go to Medalla. Oh, he has that too. Talking about Abdilia. Joust at the net. Balik sa VNS ang bola. Here comes Medalla. He is denied.
Oh, triple block in front of Medalla. No coverage at all for the VNS Griffins.
Absolutely no entry, said Air Force.
So far, we've noticed that Air Force is really putting that threat on the blocking for the wing spikers of VNF. Always triple block in front of them.
Right now, we are tied at 18 all. You can hear that the cheers on court, they're getting louder, they're communicating well. Medalla. Chansa para sa Air Force. Good dig. Back row, Bagalay. And it's been Femi Bagalay versus Ranran Abdilia in set number 1.
Bagalay really reliable in the offense and defense part of the game. Well, the veteran that VNS really needs. Great target and that attack.
We talked about Noy Pedrosa and how versatile he was, but Bagalay also is a very versatile player himself. And VNS showing up big here, coming up big here in set number 1. Massive block.
Kill block for VNS, a boost of morale for them, especially that it was a block coming from an attack from Ranran Abdilia.
And you know, Ayel, they were just ready for it. They were ready for that attack. They knew it was going to go to Ranran. And a couple of woes here for Air Force. Perhaps the biggest lead in set number 1 goes to VNS as Air Force will call a timeout.
Natin yung pasa, nawala na yung first ball natin.
Pagka na-depensa, no, sira na nasa harapan. Pag na-depensa, ikaw magsiset, nandun na sa open. Bigyan mo.
Tatlo rin pare sila kahirapan, no? Naging dalawan, nung pumalak sa dalawan ng nag-receive sa likod. Oo, kako.
Sige lang, adjust lang. Pasa lang, pasa. Hindi naman mabigat na service. Pasa lang muna. Focus sa gitna, pasa.
Their coach reminding them to actually have a better service reception because their attacking is being challenged by the faulty first ball. And again, the VNS Griffins has been guarding Abdilia because they know that Jesse Lopez will go to him. So other players really need to step up.
Absolutely, Ayel. Well, take a look at that score. It's 21-19 in favor of VNS. We know what Air Force can do. We've seen glimpses of it. They just have to stay consistent. Because VNS are not going down without a fight. We have Kalasin, 4 points right now. He will serve. Mahulabnan gives it to the other side. Lopez will go to Abdilia. What a good dig by Cruz. Medalla with the attack. It's good.
A great defense by Cruz with a powerful cross-court attack by Abdilia. But again, Medalla answering, using the separation between the blocks to score that point.
Definitely credit Joshua Cruz. He is the second best digger right now in terms of our rankings. 2.67 excellent digs per set. But this point will go to Air Force. Don't count them out yet here in set number 1, behind by 2 points.
And this is what we talked about earlier with better service reception. They can really set up other players who can produce points for them.
Inaudito with 2 points serving. What an attack by Russell Fronda up top from Mangulabnan.
Again, Mangulabnan just playing better decision making and playmaking for the VNS, setting up and activating almost all his attackers.
We love to see also the versatility from Jan Mangulabnan as Jesse Lopez goes to Abdilia, has tricks of his own.
No, but Abdilia really just leading his team in terms of scoring.
We got some substitutions for Air Force. Rueca and De Ocampo will check in for the first time here in this game.
Air Force wants a full front row for them, for more options for offense.
As Abdilia will be on deck to serve for the yellow shirts. They only have one win here in our open conference. Looking for more, definitely. As Mulabnan will give it to Bagalay. It was pretty off from the start. Ayel, what can you say?
Well, Bagalay was trying to use the hands of the blockers, actually. But I think also with his approach and form, it was already a bit difficult for him to score a point.
Back to a 1-point lead. Abdilia now with 7 points off 7 attacks. On deck to serve. With a little help of the net. Play continues. They go to Abdilia from the back row.
We're speechless right now. Abdilia just really playing almost at his peak volleyball.
Take a look at that. There was no chance. Ran Abdilia as VNS will try to come up with an answer for that.
Sa pasa nagugulat tayo, relax lang tayo ha. Kuha tayo na magandang pasa, tapos atake tayo. Go, 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 go. 1 plus 1 sila ha. Hamo na kang 3 ha. 1, 2, 3. Ha!
So Ayel, you know, VNS, I really need to come up with an answer right now for Ran Abdilia because give him any set, place him anywhere, he will deliver.
And the answer for that for the VNS is a better service reception now so that they can convert right away, because with Abdilia in the service line and Abdilia in the back row for offense, it's still deadly even with the three attackers in the front row.
Well, in terms of receiving, VNS is ranked 8th. So they have an efficiency rate of 33.11%, kind of in the middle of things. 5th place naman sa receiving ang Air Force as we get back to this game. Again, Abdilia this time, no go. Better coverage at the net for VNS. Of course, Cruz with a good dig. Medalla from the back. And he answers back. Puts them at set point.
Medalla with his own version of a back row attack. Not as powerful, but great placement as usual for him.
And we got some substitutions this time on the part of VNS. Jackie Buslik checks in for the first time in this game. She had a pretty good first game, scored 10 points. But of course, with the entry of Femi Bagalay, Jackie had to take a back seat. And they're calling Jackie the second Barbie San Andres. And there's a bit of a pause here. We're trying to see what is the cause of this pause. As you have the VNS Griffins at set point, Air Force at 23. This is set number 1. And there will be a challenge called by Air Force.
Air Force needs to play perfect volleyball because VNS is already at set point.
And you know that they can't. It's really just minimizing those errors as well. Again, 23-24 is our score here in set number 1. As we take a look at this. It is ball in, so it will remain. The point will remain with the VNS. Unsuccessful challenge for Air Force. As the play continues. And Odito comes back in. Lopez, their steady setter. Ron Medalla, team captain of VNS, former Ateneo Blue Eagle. As Jackie Buslik, one of the youngest players in their team. 19 years old, on deck to serve. Good serve. Lopez will go to Abdilia, just waiting there. It does not go over. And that will be the set for the VNS Griffins. And what a set number 1 that was for everybody watching, right, Ayel?
No, it's really the amazing defense of VNS that kept them alive in that set.
As we get back to this game later on, 25-23, magbabalik po ang Spikers turf. And what a set number one that was for all our fans. VNS took set number one, 25-23. And we were treated to some amazing volleyball, Ayel, right off the rip. These teams were just amazing. They were so athletic. They really played as a team. And though there were a few lapses here and there, they gave everybody a show.
A lot of powerful attacks coming from both teams. But again, it was an Abdilia and Bagalay show in the end. And it was the defense and the consistency of VNS that actually allowed them to get the first set.
As we take a look at our numbers for set number one now, what can you say about the numbers that we are seeing on the screen?
We can see that in terms of attacks, both teams actually almost just in the same level, 14 for Air Force, 15 for VNS, but it was the blocking and the service aces of VNS that actually made the big difference for them. Small points, short points, but very crucial moments where they scored it. And for both teams, limited their errors, 7 for VNS, only 5 for Air Force.
So it's very interesting to see, how things will pan out here in set number two. Now that they've kind of warmed up a little bit, we've seen what they could do in set number one. More to come here in set number two. Ranran Abdilia, the star of the show here for Air Force, just making things happen for his team. Syempre, team captain Ron Medalla in peak form, doing so much better. We're happy to have it back here in the Spikers turf. And now Dito and the other veterans of Air Force, as we have Jesse Lopez serving. Bagalay starts us off, but that is a block from Edwin Tolentino.
Tolentino was all over that ball.
And we know Tolentino, he is a seasoned champion in the collegiate level. He was an indoor and beach volleyball champion for the NU Bulldogs. He has that championship mentality and that pedigree. Sagutan naman dito ng blocks, but that point will go to VNS.
We talked about the attackers earlier, but how about the playmaking of both setters, Jesse Lopez and Jan Mangulabnan, really activating almost all their attackers. 4 points for Calasin, 2 points for Naudito, 8 points for Abdilia, and 2 points for Labrador in that first set. And for VNS, Bagalay with 5 points, Medalla 6 points, Pedrosa 2 points, Motol 3 points, and Fronda with 3 points. So a lot of scores coming from different players.
So very well distributed, yung bola for both our teams. And that's why this is a great game to watch. Everybody has their fair share of that spotlight. Nobody there for VNS. And Naudito spotting that there was a hole in the defense of the Griffins.
Quick thinking by Naudito and very late reaction by Mangulabnan in that sequence.
So for those who just tuned in, VNS won set number one, but Air Force close behind here. We're tied at 2-all. Mangulabnan, back set. Great cross court by Pedrosa. That is Noy Pedrosa, one out of the 3 players who remain from their 2022 roster.
He's been coming off the bench in the 2022 Open Conference, but now he's stepped up and is really having a bigger role for VNS.
He's very familiar with the system of Coach Ralph Ocampo, hence the trust that has been given to him. And right now, another deadlock here in set number 2. Labrador back here on the court. And we have Calasin, 4 points for him on deck to serve. Cruz. Good blocking. Ball is kept alive, chance here. They go to Abdilia out of nowhere. Getting that point.
When you're here watching, you can see and hear and feel the power that is coming from the attack of Abdilia.
He's also so fast on the attack. What a wonderful player to have on any team. Great connection as well with Jesse Lopez, as he should. VNS answers back, and things are starting to get heated here in our set number 2, as we expected, Ayel.
But also, Medalla has been playing so well. He's not giving off super powerful attacks, but the zones that he is targeting is really disrupting the defense of Air Force.
He's being smart about things, talking about Ron Medalla. But how about Abdilia again? Another point for him here in our game.
Just very efficient, using all his elevation and power, targeting any zones he wants on the court of VNS.
Is completely missing the blockers of VNS as well. They're gonna go over here and no go. Abdilia again. Good dig by Medalla. Babalik naman kay Ranran. He is blocked. That was Russell Fronda on the block. And can you notice yung celebration kapag si Ranran yung nabablock nila? Ayan. Ibang klase yung celebration.
And that just shows how much respect they have for Abdilia.
You know, these are very young players in VNS, and what a treat for them to be playing against Ranran, Abdilia, and the veterans of Air Force, I'm sure. Abdilia again, this time gets the point. A little too late there for Noy Pedrosa.
But Abdilia, after that error, scoring right away for Air Force. Facing cross-court but attacking down the line.
Abdilia is a third best scorer in the league right now in terms of our rankings. And they're gonna say there's a touch on that.
Oh, but both the wing attackers of VNS, Bagala and Medalla, really just again choosing the right targets on the court of Air Force.
It's another deadlock here in set number 2. Jesse Lopez, quick attack. Labrador gets it.
Lopez has a good timing in terms of setting up the quick and the wing. Always just one blocker or no blockers in front of his teammates.
There at the right time. That was Kalasin for Air Force as we go to our first technical timeout of set number 2.
If any of you is wondering how Ranran Abdilia spent his Valentine's Day, well, he was in the MOA Sands yesterday training for beach volleyball for the upcoming SEA Games. And actually, right before this game, dun din galing si Ranran Abdilia for his training. And this discipline is what Ranran says has been the key to the high level of volleyball he plays even after 15 years of playing the sport. And speaking of beach volleyball, kasama ko kanina si Pemi and si Ranran before this game. At nag-aasaran sila about going up against each other for the first time after being teammates last year, knowing na hindi nagpapatalo basta-basta ang isa't isa. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much for that report, Doreen. And how timely, because we were saying it was a Pemi Bagalay versus Ranran Abdilia. So, magkakilala pala yung dalawa, and they were former teammates. It's always, nice to know that off the court, these players are good friends and have played with one another.
But how about Ranran Abdilia coming from training and playing here this afternoon? Doesn't seem like he came from training.
It's called discipline, right? Yeah, just discipline that we see in so many of our athletes, Ranran especially. As we get back to this game, what about that monster block coming from Kalasin? He has been on a roll here for Air Force. 3-point lead here in set number 2, possibly their biggest lead of the set. Kasi hindi nagkakalayo sa 1 point or 2 points.
They're starting to build their momentum here in the second set.
And that's why VNS has to step it up even more. Bagalay will try. Good coverage. They go to Abdilia. Cruz will set up Bagalay again. And that sails outside of the hands of Melgar.
A great attack from Bagalay. With Bagalay, it's not so much power, but It's really how he positioned his attacks.
Pemi Bagalay also very interested in sports psychology, as we mentioned in the second game that we covered. And that's why when he returned, like iba yung atmosphere sa team ng VNS.
He had a great talk with his teammates before that game against Vanguard. But again, the blocking of Air Force is really on the roll.
You know, we saw a lot of great blocking as well coming from VNS in that previous set, and they need more of that here in this set. As we have Edwin Tolentino out of National University serving. Mangulabnan will go to the other side. Ron Medalla gets it.
Medalla slowing the pace of that attack. The blockers of Air Force was too early.
It's a 2-point lead now for Air Force. VNS slowly try to play catch up. That's gonna be an attack error for Ranran Abdilia as it sails out. A little too much sauce on that attack. It's now a 1-point advantage for the yellow shirts. Rocky Motol, 4 points under his belt. And that was Kalasin just tucking it in. Back to a 2-point advantage for Air Force.
Really guarding the net, not just in blocking, but also starting to produce points for the Air Force.
So again, this is where we see the versatility of the players and the great ball distribution by Jesse Lopez. Good defense by Lopez on that sequence. Also good defense by Mangulabnan. Chance here for Air Force. Who they go to? They're gonna choose Abdilia. Who else?
Abdilia really doesn't seem to have blockers in front of him.
And Ayel, for someone who plays beach volleyball and indoor volleyball, what can you bring from the sands dito sa court? Anong advantage mo?
No, it's really the control of the ball. And you know, whenever you train in the sands, there's a tendency for you to play faster and jump higher indoors. So we see so much of that with Abdilia right now.
Absolutely, and that's what we're seeing with the way that he's playing, his elevation, lalakas ng mga palo, and his quickness as well. But VNS will get that point.
No, but VNS so far just playing smart, outsmarting Air Force in their attacks.
Jesse Lopez. And we didn't even see him coming from nowhere, right? From that attack. That was Ranran Abdilia.
No, but that connection really of Jesse Lopez and Ranran Abdilia well maximized by the Air Force.
That was a good combination play here for Air Force. And Ayel literally got out of her seat with excitement. But VNS really not taking no for an answer.
No, really keeping this game close with their smart attacks.
And we know VNS, we know what they can do in situations like this. They are no strangers to tight games, as Medalla will serve. Abdilia. Finally a point for VNS.
Now, right now, the difference of VNS and Air Force, a lot of points coming only from Abdilia. But again, the distribution of Mangulabnan in the side of VNS is really working well for them.
Back to a 1-point game, and it doesn't even feel like it's a 1-point game. Abdilia changing tempo. Jesse again to Abdilia. And he is blocked. We got Russell Fronda. Might be the Abdilia stopper. We're not sure. Take a look at that.
Oh, Fronda read that cross-court attack well. He was all over that ball.
We're tied at 14 all. Another deadlock in set number 2 as Ron Medalla will serve for VNS. Jesse Lopez. Babalik dito ang bola. Back to Air Force. Abdilia will try again. Barely makes it. They are chasing that ball as they set it over. Nobody there.
for VNS. Labrador knows or knew where he wanted to put that ball.
And it was a surprise set from Jesse Lopez, setting up the middle this time. Defenders of VNS wasn't ready for that.
Back to a 1-point game. Mangulabnan to Bagalay. That is off the block.
No, Bagalay really getting points whenever it's much needed by the team.
We are tied at 15 all. Yet another deadlock here in set number 2. They need better receiving. Talking about Air Force. They're going to try to chase it, but it hits the camera. So it is a no-go as we take you to our second technical timeout. VNS leading 16-15. (16-15) is our score. VNS holding on to that slim 1-point lead against the Air Force Airmen. And what a game we are all being treated to today here in the Paco Arena Events and Sports Center. Billy Capistrano, Ayel Estranero, and Doreen Suaybagyo. As we get back to this game, Abdilia from the back row. Mangulabnan will go to Bagalay. And he is denied by Labrador.
Already 2 blockers in front of Bagala in that sequence. It's a tough chance for him to get that ball crossed the net.
And they were just ready and prepared for that attack of Bagalay. 16 all is our score. A little confusion on the part of Air Force. Let's take a look at it.
Oh, great decision by Mangulabnan actually for the drop ball attack.
Nobody was there and he had a little look at what he just did. And now he is on deck to serve. Jan Mangulabnan gets his first point of the game. Tolentino will try. That was a dig by Mangulabnan as Bagalay will opt to send it over. Chance here. Kalasin with a quick, but that will go to VNS.
No, Kalasin actually was on top of the blockers, but just too much angle in that attack.
So right now, VNS has taken the lead. A while ago, we saw Air Force kind of in control of the set number 2. And that's what we don't want to see. Those free points given to the opponent.
But you now have 3 attackers in front for Air Force. No, one of their strongest lineup.
So this is, where they need to capitalize on those attackers being there in front. The referee says the point will be here going to VNS, much to the disbelief of Kalasin. Let's take a look at it.
Miscue between Mangulabnan and Motol, but Kalasin touched the net. It was already a free point for Air Force, but they committed an error.
So sorry error there for Kalasin. 2-point lead for VNS. Inaudito challenging the blockers. It's back to a 1-point advantage for the blue shirts.
Inaudito slowing down the ball, using the hands of the blockers to score that point.
We got Avila also checking in for Air Force. Goes up to the service line. Right now, it's 18 serving 19. Mangulabnan will give it to Medalla.
No Medalla with that down-the-line attack. But again, with Bagalay in front, he's able to score a point. But when he's at the back, he's really able to give Mangulabnan good first balls and good defense.
That's what you want in a team captain, ready to take on any role. But right off the rip, Abdilia has an answer back to Medalla. Back to a 1-point lead, so we're just going back and forth here.
Abdilia just dropping it behind the blocker. So much control in that attack.
And he's really got that great volleyball IQ, that court sense as well. Good coverage for Air Force. Here comes Abdilia. Oh, he's blocked. They're going to give it back to Abdilia. He'll try second time. VNS well prepared for that one.
Oh, quick thinking by Mangulabnan to give that set to Pedrosa while the blockers of Air Force was still scrambling.
A lot of quick plays here for VNS. It's working out for them because right now they are holding on to a 2-point lead. For those who just tuned in, they got set number 1. But it has been a very close game for all their teams. And what about that single block? And Frondas so far doing very well at the net. But right now, 1-point lead na lang para sa VNS. Tingnan natin to.
Again, Abdilia just really maximizing that elevation.
De Ocampo and Rueca check in for the yellow shirts. De Ocampo goes straight to the service line. Him and his team are down by just 1 point against VNS. Very tight game we're having, both sets 1 and 2, so we can expect more in set 3.
Now we can see a couple of new faces in the Air Force.
And that is outside for Pedrosa. A little too much strength on that attack. And we are tied, 21 all. Just a little too much.
A little too much.
They need something here. That does not go over. Miscue there for VNS. And look at the score, Ayel. Air Force is tied, which prompts VNS to call a timeout.
Dalawang run yun nasayang. Pero maganda yung maganda yung attempt. Kailangan natin sure na makascore. Go lang. Wala na. So magandang first attack, tapos magandang serve. Go tayo na lang. Kunin natin to, World. Let's go, let's go. Let's go. Yes, on 3, 1, 2, 3. Yes!
Coach De Campo, just small reminders for them. He said that the intention was there, good intention. It's a matter of, a better execution for them, but good attempt. But then right now, what really matters is execution and consistent volleyball for any of both teams to get this set.
But you also love the comedic relief in the timeout of VNS. We can see that they're also here to have fun and enjoy the game. And apart from winning, that's also something that's very important. As we get back to this game, they need something, and right off that timeout, Russell Fronda delivering as expected.
But Mangulabnan again going to Fronda after that miscue earlier before the timeout.
There's that trust. Diba makikita natin na they really trust each other. And a quick answer back. And literally a quick answer back by Labrador. And we are, or rather Air Force is at 23, VNS at 22.
Oh, both teams really maximizing their middle attackers. Just shows that they have better first ball.
Here comes Abdilia serving. That was a good serve by Ranran Abdilia.
That was just too fast for VNS to react to.
They were not prepared for that at all, and that's where we can see the beach volleyball training that you said. But there will be a challenge called by VNS
foot fault. They're contesting that Abdilia actually stepped on the service line.
So we're going to take a look at that. They are allowed to do this. They have some challenges left. They only called one a while ago. Right now, score is 23-22, so it's very, very crucial. And if you can call a challenge, why not at this point?
No, especially it's going to be very crucial.
Very far off. Very far off. Much to the delight of the Air Force faithful.
But sometimes coaches just use the challenge to disrupt the momentum of the opponent.
Just to kind of freeze everything, as VNS will call another timeout.
Isipin nyo lang yung sabit sa net. Asa na tayo na maganda, ah.
Kaya pa to, ha?
Aggressive lang
Tapos
sa pasa.
next server.
Dalawa lang o dalawa lang? Go, 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 go,
Let's
go.
go. VNS on 3. 1, 2, 3. VNS!
Now VNS just needs a better first ball. They really need to convert right away right now because Air Force is already at set point.
And you are also playing against a group of veterans, talking about Air Force. So during times like this one, they know what to do. But if you're VNS, you cannot give up just yet. So we will see if this Ran Abdilia serve will take us to the next set, or will VNS fight back? Okay, that is a lucky point for VNS. What happened, Ayala?
No, foot fault there called on Abdilia.
So that one was a foot fault, and it was seen by our referee.
Oh, really costly error for Air Force.
24-23, Air Force at set point. Here comes Jackie Buslig on deck to serve. We love the clips on the hair. That was a good serve. And that is it for set number 2. That was Labrador with a quick attack. As we take a look at that last sequence.
Labrador scoring back-to-back points.
As Air Force will take this set from VNS. We'll be right back. Don't go away. And Air Force takes set number 2 from the VNS Griffins. Final score for that set, 25-23. As we take a look at some of our set number 2 highlights, what can you say about that set? Ayel, what did Air Force do right there?
So Air Force just really played their usual game, the veteran game, that really timely points for them, and the connection of Lopez and Abdilia was really the highlight of that set. But again, VNS also just playing consistent volleyball, but again, it was the miscues that cost them the set. But both teams really played so well in that second set.
Yeah, it was a bunch of miscues towards the end of that set that really gave the game to Air Force as we take a look at our set 2 statistics.
In terms of attacking, both teams with 16. And again, it was the blocking of Air Force that went well for them. And there's one service ace coming from Abdilia towards the end of the set. And both teams really limiting their errors. 4 for VNS and 5 for Air Force.
So there you have it, our set 2 statistics. That's what went down in our second set. And for those who just tuned in, I'm Belica Pestrano, Ayala Estraniero, and Doreen Suaybagyo. This is a game between Philippine Air Force Airmen versus the VNS Griffins.
So far, Abdilia with 16 points already for Air Force. And we have Medalla and Bagalay as top scorers for VNS with 9 apiece.
16 big points for Ranran Abdilia as we see team captain Ron Medalla on your screens. Also a great game from him. You're talking about how versatile he was from the back row, receiving in the back row and attacking as well.
Everyone actually playing so well for both teams. Now we're really having a show here in front of us.
This is definitely a great game to watch. Speaking of, thank you for watching us on One Sports, One Sports Plus, Signal Play, and the Smart Livestream app. We're live at the Paco Arena Events and Sports Center. If you guys are near, come and join the fun. And first point will be VNS's.
Attacking error for Abdilia.
We have Mangulabnan with 10 excellent sets under his belt in today's game. But that will be a service error. Another one for him as Air Force gets their first point of set number 3.
It's very important for VNS to start strong in this set and build that momentum right away.
They can't. Wow, that was a massive cross-court attack. And of course, we don't want anybody getting hurt. We never like to see these things. Completely unintentional. And sometimes you're just there at the wrong time. Let's take a look at that, Ayel.
Oh, a big space for Pedrosa for that attack. Tolentino was his way to defend that ball.
Kind of hit the side of his nose. And the force then forced him to just go down. But he seems okay. Touching his nose, checking if it's all right. But again, completely unintentional. We also saw Noy Pedrosa. He went to the other side, apologizing. But these things, it happens, right? Especially in a sport like volleyball. Right now, VNS with that 1-point lead. They go to Bagalay serving. Jesse Lopez goes to the other side. And that will be off the hands of Mangulabnan. So a pretty shaky start for VNS.
Mangulabnan having that later action to defend that ball. It was already sailing out.
We're tied at 2-all. First deadlock. That will go straight to the net for Air Force. So it's been an exchange of errors for both our teams and never a good way to start the set.
And both teams actually starting slow this time in the third set.
Kasi diba, sa first and second set, palitan ka agad ng puntos. Now it's a little slower than usual, but we'll pick up the pace as we can see here. Abdilia. Good dig by Medalla, great on defense. They'll go back to Abdilia, changing tempo. Ball is kept alive. That will go to Air Force.
A great effort by the defense of VNS. But again, the versatility of Abdilia and the offensive side of the game. Oh, tremendous attacks from Abdilia.
We have Kalasin, 29 years old. Was great in that second set rather. Ayel, great blocking, great points as well from him. A little too much, but that will go in.
Pedrosa was actually quiet in the second set, but so far already back-to-back points for him.
Rueca is also inside the court for Tolentino, who is resting a little bit after what happened Inaudito will try. No go. Medalla. There will be a challenge. A floor touch challenge will be called by Air Force. So we're gonna check that out in a little bit. So this is gonna be our first challenge of set number 3, Ayel.
They're asking that Pedrosa didn't hit that ball for defense on its way down.
So we did say at the start of this game that we were expecting it to be a really good one. Well, now it absolutely is such a fun game to watch.
That's credit to these players, the players of Air Force and VNS. Just really great volleyball for them, especially both in defense and offense. We see a lot of variation in terms of attacks. We see VNS really trying to convert points from the powerful attacks of Air Force, but also the effort of Air Force in terms of attacking.
And now we get to see if that challenge was successful or not. And there was no floor touch. So it was an unsuccessful challenge on the part of Air Force.
Quick defense by Pedrosa.
So unsuccessful yung challenge na yon for Air Force. And Air Force, they only have one win rather, in our open conference. VNS, we have 2 wins and 2 losses. So it's very important moving forward that teams really step up and bring their A game in every single game, just because it's a single round robin, our preliminary round, and only the top 4 teams will advance to our semis. As we get back to this game right here, Ranran Abdilia, another cross court under his belt, and he has just been on fire this whole match.
Jesse Lopez just giving all the trust to Ranran Abdilia in terms of scoring.
And that will be a point for VNS. They're holding on to a 2-point lead after dropping that second set. Ron Medalla out of Ateneo de Manila University, team captain, on deck to serve. Over receive. Walang regalo doon as they go to Pemi Bacalay. Blockers of Air Force doing a great job.
2 blockers well established in front of Bagalay. No coverage on the side of VNS. Block point for Jesse Lopez.
Back to a 1-point lead for VNS. They give it to Fronda, no go. Abdilia gets it through.
Abdilia with the help of the net.
And just like that, we are tied at 6-all. And it's a slower pace than most games that we're used to. Slow pace in terms of the points.
And the rallies also.
Right. But nothing short of very exciting talaga. The excitement is here. And you can also see that the players are having so much fun playing.
So far, VNS struggling, especially that they only have 2 attackers in front of them. Blockers well established.
They need this one. Talking about VNS, overcooks it. Puntos para sa Air Force, and they're starting to pull away a little bit as we go to our first technical timeout of set number 3. Air Force leading 8-6.
Russell Fronda says that the key to how well he has been playing for VNS so far is really how much Coach Ralph Ocampo trusts him. After daw kasi siya natigil mag-aral at hindi matuloy makapaglaro for the University of the Philippines in the UAAP back in 2019 due to financial problems, Russell says that it really left a toll on his confidence, especially dahil 3 taon siya na hindi nakapaglaro ng high-level volleyball because he had to work and help his family. Kaya naman coming into VNS, kung saan malaki ang tiwala sa kanilang team, gusto niya na suklian yon at tulungan ang team na manalo. Through the Spikers turf, he is also hoping to be noticed by universities so he can go back to school while playing the sport he loves. Your thoughts, guys?
Thank you so much for that, Doreen. And you know, we absolutely love stories like that. And you know, Fronda, he's still here despite not being able to go back to school. And we want to thank Coach Ralph Ocampo also. They take pride, VNS takes pride in really developing players and giving players a chance. And he is, as I mentioned about Rocky Motol a while ago, he's flourishing as well here in the Spikers turf, Ayel.
No, exactly. It's not easy to bring back that A game after, a few challenges in the collegiate level. So them having this opportunity to play better, we see how much they're maximizing it.
And you know, a lot of our players here, the young ones, they really join Spikers turf for the exposure so that big name universities will notice their talent, and they do have that talent. And we can't wait to see what the young players have in store for them in the future. As we go back to this game first, Air Force now at 9, VNS ties at 2. We're 9-all. Take a look at that. Great anticipation on the part of VNS as Mangolobnan serving. Lopez to Abdilia. Double block is good on Ranran Abdilia, blocked by his teammate, Femi Bagalay.
No, Lopez going to Abdilia a lot of times is starting to be a disadvantage for Air Force right now because it's being read well by the VNS.
And on the other side, Air Force gets it through. That was Rueca, seeing more minutes here in set number 3.
And that's what Air Force needs right now. They need score productions from the other players.
They need their offense going. Tied at 10-all. They're gonna give this one to Noy Pedrosa. He's denied. Trust is there. They'll do it again. Just swipes it. But point will go to Air Force.
Mangolobnan oversets that ball. Pedrosa had a difficult time trying to adjust using his left hand to save it, but it was already outside the antenna.
Mangolobnan, Baguro Bagalay on the other side, puts it away.
Bagalay using the room for that cross-court attack with only one blocker in front of him.
Another deadlock here, Ayel, in set number 3, 11-all, and this has been, the storyline that we have gotten accustomed to here in this game. Lots of deadlocks, leads that range from 1 point to 3 points, and we are just having the time of our lives watching these two teams play.
Bagalay getting that ace off the hands of Abdilia.
They're up by 1 point, talking about VNS. That is outside for Air Force. They give the point to the Griffins.
Air Force needs to convert from the service right now because this is the strong rotation.
John Joshua Cruz, 9 excellent receptions for him. Also, the same libero that we saw in the 2022 Open Conference for the Griffins. However, there was miscommunication there. We had around 3 Griffins waiting to see what their next move would be.
They were stuck looking at each other in that sequence.
Parang may konting frustration pa tayong nakita. But at any rate, they still have that 1 point lead and they need something. And that was Rocky Motol. And if, the collegiate teams are watching right now, so take your pick. We have a lot of excellent players. This one included, Rocky Motol included. A little bit of sass too. That is inside. Contrary to what Femi Bagalay shouted, na out daw. It is inside. Puntos para sa Air Force.
Clearly inside. Longer attack for Abdilia right now, confusing the defense of VNS.
Mangulabnan. What an attack.
Mangulabnan really doing well in delaying that set, confusing the middle blockers of Air Force. Only one blocker in front of Pedrosa again.
That was a great attack by Noy Pedrosa, our featured player for VNS in our pregame as he serves. Good serve from him too. They're gonna give this one to VNS. It's a chance ball. And they choose to go to Ron Medalla. Unfortunately, that will go to Air Force. That is outside. Too much angle and strength for Medalla.
No, exactly. He was trying to power through that cross-court attack, but he was already out of form.
Mangulabnan to Medalla. Chansa para sa Air Force. And what about Medalla's defense, right, Ayel? Been so well in the defensive aspect of this game.
He's been contributing both in offense and defense.
We got a rally going on here. That will go to VNS. Right now, they are in the lead, 16-14. Magbabalik po ang Spikers Turf Open Conference. Back here at the Paco Arena Events and Sports Center, you're watching the game between the Air Force Airmen and the VNS Griffins. Right now, we are at set number 3. VNS leading 16-14. We have Noy Pedrosa, Russell Fronda, of course, Ranran Abdilia, a very familiar face to a lot of our volleyball fans. Bemi Bagalay, also the veteran, leading the way for VNS. Billy Capistrano with Ayel Estranero and Doreen Suaybagyo, our courtside reporter, as we continue on with our match. And we are welcomed back by a point from Air Force.
A great reaction by Cruz actually in that sequence, but Bemi Bagalay seemed to have touched that net on that block.
So that will be a net touch violation called on Bagalay. But a quick turn of events. That will be a service error now for Air Force. We can also see the errors for both our teams are piling up a little bit here in our third set.
And that's the reason why we're neck to neck here in almost all our sets so far.
Fronda to serve. Slide attack. It's good for Labrador.
But again, Labrador, he's not set a lot of times, but whenever he is set up, he makes sure he scores a point for Air Force.
31 years old, Rodolfo Labrador on deck to serve for Air Force. Mangulabnan. Ibibigay kay Bagalay. Pause a little bit. Good dig by Air Force. Abdilia from the back row does not go over. Another attack error for Abdilia.
So far, Abdilia struggling in the back row. He would score a lot in the front row, but so far in this set, a lot of net attacks for him.
Very interesting because in that first set, we saw a lot of back row attacks from Abdilia. Again, Kalasin, just so powerful on that attack. Walang takot sa mga blockers ng VNS.
Kalasin has been good, especially towards the end of the set.
Mangulabnan will go to Pedrosa. Ball is kept alive. Good coverage by VNS. Little miscommunication for Air Force. Chansa para sa VNS. Bagalay will attempt. Unsuccessful. But you know, Air Force, you gotta commend their composure. After a few fumbles, still gaining their composure and showing their veteran experience against a young team like VNS. We are tied 18-all.
So far for Air Force, everyone working really in terms of score production.
Jesse Lopez serving as Mangulabnan chooses to go to Bagalay. He is dug up. They're gonna chase it. It's gonna go to Air Force. They take the lead 19-18. That was Rueca.
Rueca actually doing well so far, being subbed for Tolentino.
And hopefully Tolentino is okay, as Pedrosa redeems his team, ties his game 19-all.
Pedrosa using the hands of his blockers.
And this is possibly one of the tightest games that we're having here in the Open Conference, Ayel. Very exciting match. Bagalay now with 12 points as he serves. And that is outside. Another attack error for Ranran Abdilia, and he is unsure what happened.
Abdilia already feeling the frustration of his errors.
And Doreen did mention that he came from practice, beach volleyball practice, so maybe it's a little bit of that fatigue coming in, especially because they were feeding him the ball a lot a while ago. At any rate, right now, VNS 21, Air Force at 19. Let's take a look at this.
Great
massive block
for Pedrosa.
Almost, but not quite. Could have been a good play for Rocky Motol. Medyo na-excite lang ng konti, ng gigil.
Oh, giggle, exactly. That's the right term. No, he saw an opportunity for him to score. Got too excited in that sequence.
Maybe if you waited just a split second, could have made it. As Medalla is denied. That was Kalasin again with a block.
Again, Kalasin has been really a big help in the defense of Air Force.
Another deadlock here. Set number 3, 21-all. Chance here for VNS. That is a free point given to the blue shirts. That was Rueca.
Whoever plays consistent volleyball right now will definitely get this set.
Remember, there were a couple of miscues from VNS in the latter parts of that set number 2 that cost him that set. They don't want to do that here, and Medalla makes sure of it. 23-21 in favor of VNS, as Air Force will call a timeout.
Ayusin muna natin yung pasa para makaano tayo. Makapuntos tayo. Yes, diskarte ha. O, tara.
Pasa muna, pasa. Of course.
Medalla scoring from that top spin, slowing down the pace. So far, 4 out of 9 attacks for him in the first set. In the second set, 4 out of 6. And actually, in the third set, it's just 1 out of 6 attacks for him. But he made that in the most crucial parts of the set. So that might have been a turnaround for them in the set.
We all know Ron Medalla, always very reliable, even in the times that, you know, we don't expect him to score. We can expect him to do good on defense, and that's what he really does. 22-23 is our score, but there will be a challenge called by the VNS Griffins.
Ranran Abdilia going for that down-the-line attack, but he might just have overcooked that ball. Pemi Bagalay was so confident in saying we need to challenge. It was actually outside.
Again, 23-21 is our score in favor of the blue shirts. If they do get this challenge, then they will be at set point. So this is just the third set. First set was VNS's, and then the second set went to Air Force. Third set, we will see in a couple of minutes who this will go to. But it's always fun watching the teams also on the bench. You can see the teammates cheering them on.
And we talked about VNS early on this conference, that communication, chemistry, it's something they're trying to work on. But now we're watching them.
Right.
Yeah, we can clearly see it. Better communication and chemistry the entire game for them.
And on your screens a while ago, Coach Ralph Ocampo at the helm of things for the VNS Griffins. This very young team. I believe the youngest player is either 16 or 17, with the oldest being 28. We saw that was Pemi Bagalay, correct me if I'm wrong. But now we're just awaiting the results of the challenge, ball in or ball out, called by VNS. Let's take a look at it here. And I'm not sure if the viewers can hear the screams here in the Paco Arena Events and Sports Center, but by the looks of it, they're pretty happy. Talking about VNS, they're pretty happy about that challenge, Ayal.
No, Pemi Bagalay, I saw him after that attack from Abdile. He was very confident.
And right now, they are at set point, talking about VNS, and that is Jackie Buslig on the sidelines, cheering on the teammates. And Ronald Abdila maybe did not like that challenge a while ago.
No, but we know Abdili as someone, if he commits an error, he will make sure that he will score a point the next.
22-24, still in favor of the blue shirts. They're gonna go to Medalla with a drop. Good defense, good coverage. That was Lopez. They're gonna give this one to Pedrosa. No go. Inaudito, ibibigay kay Abdilia. And he was blocked. And this set will go to the VNS Griffins as we take a look at that last sequence one more time.
Abdilia really well read by Pedrosa and Foronda in that sequence. Really closing that block in front of him.
As we will take a short break. Again, VNS takes this third set 25-22. Magbabalik po ang Spikers Surf Open Conference. So there you have it. The VNS Griffins redeemed themselves from that set number 2 and take set number 3 from the Air Force Airmen, 25-22. What can you say about that set, Ayal?
Or really just VNS playing very consistent volleyball. Again, the distribution of Mangulabnan and the floor defense of Bagala and Pedrosa and the blocking of Motol and Fronda. So it's just a collective effort from the entire team of VNS. And again, it was Abdilia scoring a lot of points for Air Force. But again, he also had a couple of attack errors. We can see in terms of statistics that Air Force has 12 attacks, VNS only with 10. both with 3 blocks, 1 ace for VNS, none for Air Force. And again, it was the errors of Air Force that actually allowed VNS to snatch that set away from them.
So we have mentioned that a lot of players from both our teams have been stepping up. We have Jan Manglobnan, their setter. Of course, we have Edwin Tolentino. He's back on the court for Air Force, and Labrador as well has been great here in this game. But for you, Ayel, who has stood out to you the most?
No, definitely it's Abdilia. The form, the approach, the ability to score. So far, he already has 21 points, almost an entire set. And again, for VNS, it's Bagalay. The leadership in terms of scoring and defense just really working well for them.
And here we are, set number 4 of Game 1 of our Wednesday doubleheader day after Valentine's. No shortage of love here. Volleyball love here in the Paco Arena. As we take a look, Air Force gets the first point. They draw first blood here.
A very important set for Air Force. They need to take this
if they want to force a 5th set, because if not, VNS will get their win number 3. Again, Air Force, isa pa lang ang panalo nila this Open Conference.
They won against NU in 5 sets, lost against Iloilo, Imos, and Signal. For VNS, they won against NU and Vanguard and lost against Cotabato and Iloilo.
Right, so 2-2 ang record ngayon ng VNS. So they do need this win to further strengthen their campaign to enter the semifinals, because only top 4 teams will enter our semis and advance to the semis. As we see Labrador with the attack, and that goes outside. Puntos para sa VNS.
Air Force starting aggressive in terms of attack.
But there's going to be a challenge, very early challenge here in set number 4, called by Air Force. They're saying that it is a block touch, or there was a block touch on a VNS player. So we will see if that challenge will be successful or unsuccessful. And for those who are watching, we have another great game coming up after this, right, Ayal? It's PGJC Navy Sea Lions going up against the Signal HD Spikers na wala pang talo sa ating conference. So that's going to be a very interesting game as well. As we take a look at our screens, there was no block touch. Clear as day, nothing. So point will remain with VNS.
This is how we usually start the set. No, really neck and neck. But again, VNS seems to know how to close a set.
And that's when you know that both teams mean business. Kung ngayon pa lang, very early on, there's a challenge kaagad. They're gonna give this one. They're gonna set it over. It doesn't go over for Ron Medalla. Attack error for him.
Now that was a tough angle for Medalla.
We have Ranran Abdilia, fresh from beach volleyball training, as Doreen reported a while ago. Edwin Tolentino, now back on the floor.
No, he has been missed in that 3rd set, especially that he is the 2nd scoring option of Jesse Lopez and 2nd best scorer for Air Force as well.
Ranran Abdilia, parang hindi naman masyadong pagod. I think he got a bit of rest after that 3rd set ended.
Definitely, Air Force feels the urgency right now.
Tolentino on deck to serve still. That is outside, a little to the left. And the point will be given, free point will be given to VNS.
You know, one thing also working well for VNS, like what we said earlier, it's really their communication. And we can clearly hear it. It's not only in the huddles, but it's really even during the rally.
And I remember Coach Rafa Campos saying that communication was something that they needed to work on, as well as maturity during in-game situations. And by the looks of it, you know, they said in their first game or the 2nd game that they were a bit intimidated going up against their idols. But parang wala nang intimidation ngayon.
No more intimidation factor, clearly. They've been playing so well in all departments.
As Jackie Buslig, as they said, the 2nd coming of Barbie San Andres, now on the court for the blue shirts. We're tied 4-all. Rocky Motol serving for VNS. That's a good serve. Lopez will give it to Abdilia. Dug up by Bagalay. And they go to Buslig. A little too strong for Jackie in his first attack attempt.
A great angle, great target, but just too much power in that attack.
Kalasin on deck to serve. Right on the money for Noy Pedrosa. Ties this game 5-all.
Oh, VNS has been scoring a lot in that back set of Mangulabnan to Pedrosa. Really sharp cross-court attack for Pedrosa.
They're gonna give this to Abdilia. Ball is kept alive. Jackie. Chance ball para sa Air Force. Babalik kay Abdilia. Blocked.
No, as the game continues, VNS is able to read the attacks of Abdilia better, frustrating him on the blocking.
And syempre nakakapagod because we were talking about it a while ago, Ayel. Abdilia, when he goes for that attack, he really gives everything. All energy.
Exactly. He's the type of player who really puts a lot of effort in his approach and that form, not conserving any energy at all.
It will have its advantages and disadvantages kasi syempre mas mabilis ka mapagod.
And he's being feeded a lot by Jesse Lopez.
Right. Chance here. Almost a point. Abdilia. They're gonna chase it. Buhay pang bola. Bagalay sends it over. Jesse Lopez back to Abdilia. Another attack error. Doesn't go over for Ranran Abdilia. And you can actually see that he is a bit tired based on his body language.
And he's starting to feel that frustration because of his errors. Again, Jesse Lopez needs to find other options in terms of attacks if they want Abdilia to last the entire set.
As Jackie Buslig sends that straight to the net. You have Ranran Abdilia serving now for the yellow shirts. Best scorer in the game so far. Bagalay puts it away.
Oh, Bagalay, really, what an angle for him using his beach volleyball attacks.
As we go to our first technical timeout, VNS in the lead 8-7.
Being one of the only 3 players left of the VNS team that competed in the Spikers Turf last conference, Noy Pedrosa shared na iba daw talaga ang impact na nabigay ng pagdating ni Pemi Bagalay or Nay Pemi sa team. It's not just about the impact Pemi brings in terms of stats. Noy says it's about how much Pemi boosts each of their confidence, how he helps them bring the best in each other. Nasabi nga ni Noy na malaking bagay, especially for him, ang confidence boost na ito as he shared na in college, once lang siya na line up at nagka-pandemic pa. In the Spikers Turf, Noy shared that he only scored 1 point when he played for VNS last conference, but this conference, with the boost that his teammates gives him, he is eyeing that Best Opposite Spiker award. Your thoughts, guys?
Thank you for that, Doreen. A little insight also to the stories of the VNS players. And we are talking about it with the arrival of Pemi Bagalay in that second game of VNS in this tournament. Nabuhayan yung team. And they did say that he was such an X-factor yung arrival niya.
No, the impact that he has in these players has been really positive and has been helping them in terms of getting their place back.
In the meantime, we have a challenge called by VNS on that last play. And we have the youngsters, the young ones, having a bit of airtime. And Naipemi just nodding his head. But again, you know, the VNS players, a lot of them have very good stories to tell, stories that we should all know. And a lot of players here in the Spikers turf as well. And it's nice that they have a safe haven to be able to showcase their talents as we await the challenge.
And like what you said earlier, VNS takes pride on that, giving these players the opportunity to play, you know, and attain their full potential, given that they stopped playing, especially because of the pandemic.
And same goes for all our teams, not just VNS, of course, Air Force. May sarili-sariling kwento yung mga manlalaro natin. It's always nice to know these stories. And we're gonna check if there was a center line fault. And there wasn't. But VNS thinks otherwise, and they're trying to point at the screen. But so far, challenge system says no. Point will stay with Air Force, and the challenge was unsuccessful. Play continues. We're tied at 8-all now. Mangulabnan. They're gonna give this one to Tolentino. Missed some action. Back on track.
No, and that's what they miss in the third set. A very reliable attacker, a great help for Abdilia in terms of scoring production. Quick thinking for Tolentino to just drop that ball behind the blockers.
And remember, Ayel in that previous game against Signal, Abdilia was on and off. He wasn't playing consistently. That's why Edwin Tolentino really had to step up in lieu of his absence. What an attack by Pemi Bagalay, Nai Pemi, as he is called by his teammates, showing why he is the leader of the Griffins.
No, a faster set from Mangulabnan and a quick risk action for Bagalay in that sequence.
Tied at 9-all, lots of deadlocks we're seeing here in set number 4. That is way outside for John Mangulabnan, and he's had a couple of service errors under his belt in this game, Ayal.
No, a few errors coming from him, but still, he's really doing well in terms of setting distribution.
1 point lead for Air Force. They exchanged service errors. That was Jesse Lopez. We are tied again, this time at 10-all. You're watching us on One Sports Plus, Signal Play, and the Smart Livestream app. Great game that we're having this Wednesday, and just the first of 2. Chance here. There go Labrador, he's blocked. Good coverage by Melgar. Puntos para sa Air Force. There's gonna be an error called on VNS.
Jesse Lopez starting to distribute balls more.
Oh, there was clearly a net touch violation. That was Rocky Motol. Kind of grabbed the net. They go to Jackie Buslig. And he actually top scored in their first game with 10 points.
A great setting by Mangulabnan. Also pushing that to the wing attacker Buslig, and Buslig just really delivering right away.
And really, Jackie has a lot of potential. She's only 19. So many more years of volleyball to go. As we get back to our game, things are getting exciting. 11-all. They go to Abdilia, denied. But that will go to Air Force. That is off the block for Ranran Abdilia.
Abdilia earlier couldn't get past through the blocks of VNS, and now actually using the blocks to score a point.
One-point advantage for Air Force. Mangulabnan. Is there going to be a point for VNS?
Great adjustment from Pedrosa, using the hands of his blockers also.
Noe Pedrosa. Very familiar with the system of Coach Ralph. He will serve. Look at the unforced errors. 24 for VNS, 27 for Air Force. Medyo madami for both teams.
But in that sequence, great first ball by Melgar. Jesse Lopez had the opportunity to set up the middle.
13 serving 12 as Mangulabnan bibigay ulit kay Jackie. Quality minutes for Jackie Buslig. Second point.
Right. And that's the good thing about this VNS players. Whenever they're given the opportunity, they make sure they maximize their time on the court.
Buslig serving. Jesse Lopez will give it to Ranran Abdilia. Gets it.
Well, that was a very powerful down-the-line attack from Abdilia.
Jackie Buslig. Of course, John Joshua Cruz. Cruz was in that roster, the 2022 roster, alongside Pedrosa and Mangulabnan. And that's outside.
It has been the errors of both teams giving them a difficult time to build momentum.
We're at 14 all. Set number 4. A lot of deadlocks here. Fronda serving. This one to Tolentino. That is good. But they are going to... It looks like, yes, they will be calling a challenge on that. And we will see what challenge it will be.
Mangulabnan was convincing their coaches that it was really outside.
And
they need to get the challenge.
Pretty confident on that one. Block touch. Let's see. Air Force and VNS tied at 14 all. Our next game, Navy versus the Signal HD Spikers. Should be an interesting game as well. A day after Valentine's, volleyball na naman, Ayel.
No, volleyball never stops,
VNS
definitely.
nga, diba? Volleyball never stops. Let's see. Was there a block touch? There was no block touch. And Mangulabnan, you said, was very, very confident that he did not touch that ball. Point will go to VNS. They take the lead, 15 to 14. They're gonna give this one to Tolentino. Great attack from Edwin Tolentino.
No, Tolentino, just like Abdilia, scoring right away after an error. Really maximizing that open space.
Tolentino again will try. Better coverage from VNS. They go to Pedrosa. Babalik sa VNS ang bola. Chance here for them. And they go to Pemi Bagalay, who puts it away. And with that, we will go to our second technical timeout. But let's take a look at this first. Great attack from the veteran, Pemi Bagalay. Magbabalik po ang Spikers turf.
Billy and Ayel, just a little bit of update on Ben Inaudito's ankle. For those who just tuned in, Ben sprained his left ankle in the second set after a bad landing after receiving a chance ball. He tried to return to the third set, pero na-feel niya na di niya kaya yung pain, so he sat down. Nilagyan ng PT ng ice ang ankle niya for the meantime. While he says it is likely that he will not be back to play this game, malaki ang tiwala ni Ben na kaya na ng teammates niya on the court. Back to you guys.
Thank you for that, Doreen, and thank you for pointing it out. Because we did see Inaudito a while ago. We weren't really sure what happened to him, but yes, he did suffered a sprain, and hopefully he'll be better for that next game.
And a big adjustment for Air Force without Inaudito because Labrador was forced to be put on the wing as a wing attacker.
Right.
He was playing middle earlier.
And he was doing well as a middle. Let's see the adjustments that they will make moving forward. Also because Edwin Tolentino is here, present for them. Doesn't go over for Jackie Buslig. Puntos para sa Air Force. They take the lead. Sorry, that is still a 1-point advantage for VNS. But Air Force slowly starting to gain back that momentum as Mangulabnan will give it to Pedrosa. No go. Abdilia from the back. Unsuccessful. Bagalay again with a drop. Melgar was there. Tolentino with a drop of his own. Bagalay challenging those blockers. Miscommunication almost cost him the point. Bagalay, single blocker in front of him. Tolentino. And we got a pretty long rally happening right here. And Pedrosa finishes it.
Oh, Pedrosa just really contributing a lot in terms of score production. Even with Labrador in front of him, and he managed to score a point.
Remember, Pedrosa said his goal is to win best opposite spiker. So we will see if that will happen here in this open conference. 18-16 is our score. VNS leading. So far, so good for the blue shirts. Again, does not go over for Jackie. You know, it's good to note that this is Jackie's first appearance in the Spikers turf. So, syempre, may pangangapapa yan na nangyayari.
Oh, and that set from Mulabnan was a little bit low.
Edwin Tolentino, 7 points, 5 attacks, 2 blocks, 17 serving, 18. And that is back to a 2-point lead for the Griffins after that free point given to them, service error.
No, the errors that they will be committing from now will be very crucial for them, especially that we're towards the end of the set.
Abdilia struggling quite a bit here. Good coverage. They go to Buslig. Better approach. Better attack. Puntos para kay Jackie as Air Force will call a timeout.
No, Air Force really have to have the sense of urgency right now because VNS is up by 3. They have to play consistent volleyball, and they have an advantage because they have 3 attackers in front of them, and Ryan Abdilia also.
And let's go back to the theme that we were talking about at the start of this game, Ayel. You know, these two teams, they're gutsy, and we can absolutely see it in this game. So it's a matter of who can finish it or who has that composure to take it all the way.
But what a combination play for Air Force in that sequence. No blocker at all for Labrador. No, Calasin pulling in the blockers and Labrador just maximizing.
Right now we have substitutions for the yellow shirts. Avila checks in as Calasin will take a bit of a rest, a bit of a break. 2-point lead for VNS. This is our 4th set. Now, if Air Force drops this set, then VNS will win. So they really want to force a 5th setter. But if you're VNS, you want to finish it now because you know what Air Force can do in set number 5. They go to Busling again, blocked, but that is off the block. Magic Bunot for Coach Ralph Ocampo.
Definitely Magic Bunot has been she's been scoring a lot of points for VNS so far.
And look at her go. Age is nothing but a number for Jackie Buslig going up against the veterans of Air Force.
Oh, but again, the veterans of Air Force just doing veteran moves over there. Labrador just putting in the ball on the side of VNS.
Just with a push. Nothing special. Score right now, 19-21. As Labrador now with 10 points. We saw him serving. Here comes Buslig again. Nandoon si Melgar. They go to Abdilia. Cruz with a dig. They bring it back to Jackie. Ooh, another attack error for Jackie Buslig.
Well, Jackie was trying to go for a deep cross-court attack, but the set was away from the net.
And VNS will call a timeout.
No pressure, no pressure. Wala kayo ng gigil, ha? Tandaan nyo, pag nakataas yung sikoy nyo sa tenga nyo, para di mapasok. Pasok si Chelsea, no? Sabi ko, play 1. Magandang receive, tapos ano? So magandang receive, magandang pasok. Pag nasetan, kailangan mo na makasarap. Relax na nga, relax na nga. Kailangan na magandang pasa, ha? Play 1 lang, play 1.
Guys, think positive.
Yes,
natin to, ha? Win on 3, please, guys. Let's go. Guys, energy. 1, 2, 3! Win!
Coach Ocampo reminding his players to just relax and no pressure, just relax. It's very important because this is the part of the set wherein pressure is really high. So staying composed is very important at this point.
Right, especially for the younger players like we saw a while ago. Jackie Buslig had that attack error. You can't let that define how you play in the next coming sequences, in the next coming plays. You have to recover from it. And that's very, very important, especially here in volleyball. And you also heard in their timeout, think positive. Very calmado si Coach Ralph Ocampo while giving those instructions. 1-point lead for VNS. They're going to give it to Jackie. A lot of confidence. That point will go to Air Force. And Jackie will take a break. Ron Medalla will come back in. But you gotta commend Jackie Buslig as well for giving the much-needed points also for VNS. And you see the trust of Coach Ralph de Baia sa mga players niya.
And Mangulabdan went to Buslig a lot of times.
Giving her that confidence that she needed. Abdilia, another attack error, and he had pretty much a lot to say after that attack error. We saw him here up close. You saw him on your screens. You can see that he's frustrated.
And he knows that he needs to produce points because he's in the front line and a lot is expected of him in this very crucial parts of the game.
Tech Sergeant Jinson Mirza, coach of Air Force, also not so happy about that. Back-to-back attack errors from Ranran Abdilia.
This free points coming from Air Force is giving VNS the confidence that they need.
As Air Force will call for time.
Wala. Sige na. Diretso mo. Patong.
Pag na-receive ko lang.
Sino yung may papatong?
Hindi, si Ran. Galing doon. Open mo lang si May.
Para mga emergency.
Hey, Ran, pagka may receive ka, mag-5 ka. Pero pagka magandang pasa, combination mo, ipataw. Ha? Sinong gitna sa harap?
Dalawa lang yan.
Dalawa lang
yung mga boy, ah. Hey, first! Hey!
Attack.
Very specific technical timeout.
Take a look at the last play before that timeout.